Hey guys, welcome to another heavy metal diecast video. Today we have the H-21 Piasecki. This is called the Workhorse or Shawnee, depending on what part of the US military it was in. This was an American made twin rotor helicopter developed by Piasecki Helicopters, which would later become Boeing Vertol. It was a multi-mission aircraft, its primary roles being troop and cargo transport and search and rescue operations. It was originally designed for Arctic operations. It could operate in extremely cold environments as well. It first entered service with the United States Air Force in the early 50s, I think it was, as the H-21 Workhorse. But it would also be utilised by the US Army under the name of the H-21 Shawnee, which this bad boy is. It is the Army version, so the Shawnee. And what we'll do is we'll get this out of this packet. This is by Amercom, and this cost me a whole $30. I don't know, for you guys, some of you guys out there, it might be expensive, but unfortunately in Australia, things are not cheap at times. So I'll get this open. So we just cut that off. It does have the a little stand that does come with it. It is in a little baggie there, has some details about the aircraft there. From 1964, so this will be one that was used over in Vietnam. Get rid of that backing plate, although that is a US Air Force one, but this is the Army version, the Shawnee. So we'll get that box open and we'll just have a look at the aircraft itself first. It does come out nicely. It is, a reasonable weight actually. It's not too bad. Yeah, so this is obviously, as I said, from 1964, so where the Shawnees would find themselves in the thick of the action as they were deployed in Vietnam in late 61. But the old Shawnee actually suffered a lot in Vietnam. Initially designed for more sort of colder climates, the performance of these did really suffer in the tropical heat of Vietnam. Unfortunately, the carry capacity of these was normally 20, but in the theatre of Vietnam, they could only carry up to nine passengers, so it was sort of reduced dramatically. Even the engine suffered. They normally had a 600-hour working life. They were reduced to around 200 hours, so pretty much down to a third of working capacity. So, and not to mention, they were extremely vulnerable to small arms fire and the anti-aircraft fire that the NVA were using at the time as well. So they did get shot down, unfortunately. So they did suffer a lot over there. Everything was working against the old Shawnee over there, and they eventually were withdrawn from service in, I think, 1964. They were pulled out and being replaced by the good old Huey, and that took over a lot of the duties of this beast. And in 65, I think the CH-47 Chinooks came in to take over the heavy lifting that this would be normally doing. So, but overall, look, I think this, as I said, this is like a cheap. It was $30. It's the Amercom sort of magazine type one, and I think it's not too bad. It looks really nice. It is a bit of an unusual looking aircraft. I think these aircraft a lot of the times were referred to as the banana because they were shaped like that. But I think overall, the sort of details, it's not too bad for like a $30 diecast, and it is metal, so there is no dramas in that regards. But it's got some reasonable detail there. Was it Cherry Boy? So it's got all like the windows and everything. It's got some details inside the cockpit, although it is all one sort of colour. But it doesn't detract too much from that model. I think overall, we'll turn it upside down and have a look. I mean, it's reasonably basic in the sort of the colours and bit of detail and stuff like that, but it's $30, so you guys will probably get it cheaper in your countries, depending on your location. But for me, it was $30, and it's not too bad a price for what this is. And for what this is a helicopter, and helicopter needs rotor blades. So what we'll do is we'll chuck those on now. So here we have it all together, and it comes up really nice, and I think it's a pretty good rendition of this particular helicopter. There are, as I said, there are not too many options, I think, for these in diecast. But what I did find interesting, as you can see, on top of the blades, it's white. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. That's the joys that you do get when you do these different aircraft reviews. You do find out sometimes some little new things and little particulars about certain aircraft that you weren't aware of. And the black, normal black underneath, but yeah, white on top. So that is a very strange. So I think I learned something today, so that's pretty cool. But look, to be honest, I think this is not too bad for what it is. It's you know, a nice little budget helicopter, and it's an unusual helicopter. You don't see too many of these bananas around as an option to purchase. The manufacturers tend to stick with the more common helicopters that people sort of chase after. And I still think it's a pretty cool model. It does present well, and it's pretty respectable for what it is. I'll just chuck it on the deck here, and I think overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, I reckon it's nice, definitely a nice looking unit. So I can't complain. It's got the stand, and that has that details from 1964. So obviously this is a Vietnam helicopter for the Army over in Vietnam, and sits nicely on that stand as well. And the rotors do spin; they don't smack into each other or anything like that. But I think it's, you know, I think this is pretty cool. So I don't mind it at all. And yeah, if you can find one, get one. It's relatively cheap if you're into your helicopters and stuff like that. So I reckon it's a pretty cool addition to your collection. So yeah, all right, I'll wind this up. So I will take the photos, do the usual deal, so you can see this sausage without these sausages, and check it out in all its little glory. And if you did find this helpful, throw us a like, that'd be awesome. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. That would be really, really cool. Thank you very much to those that have already done so. I really appreciate everyone. So once again, this is an Amercom version. So it's like from the magazines collection sort of thing. It's 1/72nd scale diecast. It only cost me $30. It is the Piasecki H-21, the Shawnee, because it's the Army version. And I think it's pretty cool. So yeah. All right, guys, as usual, have a great rest of your day.